You know, old school people, they didn't mess around with certain behaviors. And now the behaviors that they didn't even tolerate then, they're tolerable now amongst a lot of families, amongst a lot of young kids growing up. And that's why you have so many kids now that's just so out of control. They're kind of crying out. They want structure. They want discipline. They want somebody to actually lead them the way. And they don't act out like that just because they're trying to necessarily be bad. They're only doing that because it's just something that happened to come up. That emotion that they're feeling at that moment, at that time, came up. But then it's up to us as fathers to put that in check. So an example I'll give you, like one of my sons one time, he was little and, he rose his hand up like he wanted to hit me, and I popped him, and I popped him good to let him know, you don't do that to me. You don't do that to me at all. And then when I seen him do it to his mom, she popped him too. But then at the same time, I reinforced that by getting him too. So now he's learning, if I do something like that, not only am I going to get those same things that I mentioned to you guys earlier about the no, the facial expression, the shaking of the head, and then the infliction of the pain, but guess what? He's getting a double whammy of it. He's going to see that mom and dad don't like that. So that's, once again, it's a behavior that he's picking up. If I do this, I'm going to get in trouble. So honestly, it took one time for my son to do that when he was around 4 or 5 years old, where he wanted to act like he wanted to put his hand up or hit back. And I got on top of it. I corrected at that moment. Now, when it comes to like spanking, my kids got spanking, I'll say all the way up to the age of maybe 12. After that, it really wasn't no spankings or anything anymore. But from the age of 0 all the way to 12, it was needed because they're tested certain waters. And once again, you're forming behaviors that you want them to pretty much instill into their character. Now, one thing that gets me, I am a disciplinarian. And a lot of people that know me, they know that I'm not a strict parent. I'm not strict really at all. But what I am protective. That's my job as a man. I protect my kids. And so if that means not allowing them to go around certain crowds or around certain people or do certain things, yeah, I'm going to protect them from that. I'm not restricting them from that. I'll let them make those decisions when they get older. When they become adults, they can do whatever they want to. But right now, while they're in my care, no, I'm not going to let them be around certain groups of kids. I'm not going to let them be influenced by certain genres of different things where people try to instill things in them that I don't want them to be instilled. So I'll give you an example. I didn't let my sons then have sex education because I went through sex education, and I wanted to look at the school's curricula that they were giving my sons. And a lot of us know when they teach sex education, they're teaching you how to do it. It's some things that kids might not even be thinking about. It may be something that's not even in their mind, but they go to school and they push this on your kids, and all of a sudden now something that should not have even been open until those kids became to an age where they actually want to start questioning things like that anyway. The schools are now putting that in them. So I'll give you an example. There were, when I was in 6th grade, they brought sex education to us. They started talking about condoms and how to put the condom on. They were using a banana at that time. They put a condom on the banana and they inserted into like this silicone model of a female vagina, showing how it goes in and goes out. So we all at the time, we were snickering about it, and we were kind of like a little bit embarrassed about it. But it wasn't even soon after that that same day after we left from sex education, we go out in the playground. A few of my friends who went to Ben Franklin, we all was just kind of talking amongst each other like, man, that was crazy, wasn't it? And then one of them was just like, well, I wonder what it'd feel like to stick it in there. I mean, in other words, talking about stuff that we never even talked about until they brought it to our attention. So I'm just kind of using it as an example as I'm showing you guys how me as a man protecting my kids from certain type of influences. So, yeah, that's what I mean by I'm not just necessarily talking about spankings when I'm talking about discipline. That's just one of those little avenues I'm showing you guys when I say how I discipline my kids. That's like another avenue of discipline, how I keep them straight. So anyway, and then the other thing that come up is that, y'all have no idea how much it burns me that when I go to places like Walmart and I see these kids acting up, yelling, it burns me so bad that I want to take those people's kids and just be like, just please let me have your child for 2 days. Like your child to be calling you, mommy, please bring me, I'll be good, because I don't see how you as a parent can let your kid act out like that. I just don't get it. So, in fact, one time while we were in Walmart, this little kid was acting up and he was yelling at his mom because he wanted his toy. And she told him he couldn't have it. So he was yelling, "I hate you! I hate you!" He laid on the floor and started just going off, yelling and screaming and kicking. And the mother got so frustrated, she just kind of took a deep breath and she walked off with her cart and she kind of ran around the corner while that little kid kind of still sat there and screamed. I walked over to that kid and I was like, "Get your butt off the floor. Get off the floor before I get you." That little boy stopped crying. He looked at me and started walking off, but he did not take his eye off me. His mom kind of came right back around that corner and she kind of said, "Now, are you better now?" And while she walked over, and that little kid kept on looking back at me because he saw that it angered me that he acted like that. And once again, he gave me a look of surprise, like, what in the world? This guy just went off on me because of how I was acting. And for the rest of the time that he and his mom was shopping in the store, I would always just kind of walk around where he is, and I'll just kind of, and he'll keep on just being good. So you can do it. Get your kids straight. And matter of fact, the type of person that I am, and I take that challenge as like you trying to buck up against me. You know, a kid disobeying me, my kids disobeying me and not doing what I want them to do. I take that as a challenge, you know, and I shut it down. So, disciplining your kids is not hard, like I mentioned. It's just that you have to just stay consistent on that. And once again, when you're doing this, you are actually instilling behaviors into them that's going to actually go into their character. Now, my kids, they reached the teenage stage. They're 16 and 14 years old right now. I had countless amount of people saying, when your boys become teenager, oh, you're really in for it now. No, I'm not in for nothing. Because once again, I still have that mentality and I still have it in my house that since they were children, I dare them to challenge anything on me. I'm not one of those parents that I'm going to, hey, don't do that. No, don't do it again. No, what did I tell you? 1, 2, 3. Oh, now I'm about to go back to 3, 2. I'm almost at 1, 2 and 2.75, 2.5. I don't do it. I said one time. That's it. And if you go and do what I'm telling you not to do after I just told you that one time, I'm getting you. That's it. So what I'm saying is that they're going to know that they can't get away with that with you. He told me no one time, and I tried to do it again. I got in big trouble. But when you keep on giving your kids all these threats and these threats and these threats and never follow through to it, it's not their fault that they pick up on that behavior that you're putting in them, that they got so many strikes before you really get them. Do it right from the jump. The minute you tell them that you don't want them to do a certain thing and they do it, you get them. Don't do no counting and all that. And if you really think about it, you're wasting more energy in doing all these crazy methods of trying to count to 10 or count back from 10 or count to 3 and keep on hitting them with these auto threats when they know that you're not going to follow through with them until you get super frustrated. And then when you get super frustrated, that's when it can become bad, because some parents, they blow their top and they go off and they actually find themselves abusing their kids. But when you do it right from the moment that they actually do that behavior that you don't want them to do, you're getting on them without having so much anger built up within yourself. You know, so I have people that I know who kids seem to be out of control, and it's never too late. I mean, unless they're grown and now you want to try to instill something into them, yeah, that might be because they've already become who they are. But what I'm talking about is those parents that got kids anyway from the ages of 0 all the way till, preteen.